There is a certain feeling you get when your house is for sale and you realize the interest has dried up. Showings are getting fewer and fewer. You haven't had any offers in a while, or maybe none at all. And some doubt starts to creep in. You're thinking, man, what am I doing wrong? Why isn't my house selling? Did I hire the wrong agent? Everyone was all smiles when you signed that listing agreement and the sign went in the yard and the house gets on the MLS and popping champagne. But now there's no showings, no offers, and your agent isn't even answering the phone. Today, I'm peeling back the curtain and I'm going to be exposing 5 signs that you hired the wrong agent. Now, I don't want this to turn into an agent bashing video, but I do want to help you protect yourself in case you have hired the wrong person. There's a lot of great agents in DFW, but unfortunately, there's also a lot of bad ones that give the good ones a bad name. And I want this video to be a helpful video to help expose those agents so that you can move on and find one of the good ones. If you haven't already seen one of my videos about how to hire an agent, I'll put that link right here. That's going to have interview guides, toolkit, and all the questions you need to ask to make sure that if you are in the middle of hiring an agent or hiring a different agent, you know exactly what to do. To kick things off, here's an overview of the 5 red flags we're going to talk about. The yes man, the cell phone photographer, the ghost, the open house illusionist, and the no launch plan. Red flag number 1 is what I like to call the yes man. And what this is they are not providing you with professional guidance. They're just agreeing with whatever you're telling them. This would be like going to the doctor, and after you tell the doctor what's going on, what you think is happening, the doctor just asks you, well, what do you think is going on, or what do you want to do? Well, hopefully that's not what happens, because I get most of my medical advice from Google right now, and I don't think that is 100% accurate. So what you really want is professional guidance based on data and strategy. So if your realtor isn't providing these before you get going, that's a huge red flag. Red flag number 2 is the cell phone photographer. I know cell phones have progressed greatly since we first got our first flip camera phone to what they are today, but they are still no match for professional photography. Trust me on this, you want a professional photographer. Professional photography is really not that expensive when you actually take into account how much better or attractive those photos are going to be. So I have a quick example here on the left. 1, professional photographers know how to frame a photo. 2, lighting is way off. I feel like this person is sitting on the ground taking this photo. Like, I'm just not sure. At least it's not blurry or cattywampus here. Whereas the one on the right is a professional photo. It's framed well, it's lit well, you can tell the editing is done well. That's what you're really trying to do, is showcase the property in a way that is not only attractive, but let someone see themselves there. You have less than 5 seconds for someone to decide on your listing whether they're going to stay or go. Red flag number 3 was the ghost agent. Now, some agents like to think that it's Halloween 365 days a year and they're just ghosting you. Well, you shouldn't have to chase your agent down for communication. The standard should be at least 2 pieces of communication a week, meaning if you're one of my clients, on Monday, you get a detailed breakdown of the online stats for your listing. How are they doing on Zillow, Realtor.com, and all the major portals, including the MLS? What does that look like? 2, you should be also getting personal communication via email, text, phone call, whatever your communication preference is. Ideally, you're going to have at least 1 phone call a month. I like to make those once a week myself, at least. And then also any feedback from your showings should be delivered within the first 24 hours after receipt. So you should be getting pretty constant feedback from your agent about what's going on, especially when it comes time to make a strategy adjustment. These should be conversations that A, don't surprise you because you've been getting feedback the whole time, and B, should be data backed. If your agent just calls you up, or worst case, to send you a text that says, hey, we need to drop the price on the listing, without any sort of strategy or evidence behind that, it's a huge red flag. So if you're having to chase your agent down to get them to communicate with you, that's a big one. Red flag number 4 is their marketing strategy is put in the MLS and host an open house. Well, data has proven that only 2% of homes sell via open house. Does this mean open houses are in general just a bad idea? Well, no, not necessarily. They can still produce quite a bit of interest. However, it depends on how your agent uses these. If they're asking you to leave your house for a couple hours on a Saturday when you don't really need to or want to, well, you need to make sure that they're utilizing the open houses correctly. Red flag number 5 is they have no launch strategy. I like to say your home deserves a launch, not an upload. Meaning every agent can just upload your house to the MLS and it automatically will go to all the major portals. Zillow, Realtor.com, Redfin, Homes.com, all of those guys get it no matter which agent you choose as long as they're putting it in the MLS. However, not all listings are equal. Look at your agent's past listings, hopefully they have some, and look at how robust the data is. The more information in today's day and age can be posted online, the better. More and more people are using AI like ChatGPT or Gemini or Perplexity to actually help do their searches. These search engines need more data. So if your realtor doesn't have a strategy, not only around how to get more attention through their photos and their words and additional posts, hopefully on social media, but also all of these in line to get answer engine optimization, well, that could be a big red flag too. So not only do they need to have better marketing for your launch, but they also need to have what day of the week is it going to launch? What price will it launch at? What does their marketing look like leading up to launch day? All of these things matter and they need a plan. If your agent doesn't have a plan, it's a huge red flag. So those are the 5 red flags. So now what? If your agent that you were working with or still working with is showing 2 or more of these red flags, well, it might be time for a change. So you have some options here. First off, the situation changes whether you're still in the market or not. Now, if you're not in the market anymore, well, obviously it's time to start finding, interviewing, and hiring a different agent if you want to get your house back on the market. If you haven't already, check out my series on how to hire an agent. It will walk you through the common pitfalls, what to avoid, and the actual instructions on how to do that with exact questions and everything. I'll link that right here so you can give that a watch. If you are on the market, well, that gets a little bit more complicated because you are still under contract with that agent. It is technically unethical for one agent to talk to you while you're under contract with another agent. So be careful here. It doesn't mean you can't explore your options. It just means that you need to be upfront about that when you call and start talking to these agents. Ideally, if you do want to get rid of your current agent, you would do that before you reach out to any other agent. So hear me when I say that. Please address this with your current agent first. Ideally, you come to them with your concerns, you guys can work it out, and maybe you move on with the still current agent and you have a much better experience going forward because you know a little bit more about what to talk to them about it. Well, if it doesn't work or you just think it's time to sever it, talk to them about severing the contract. Don't wait. Waiting can cost you a lot more, especially depending on the time of the year. A lot of people, because they want to avoid a difficult conversation, wait for their contract to expire. But depending on when that is or how much longer of contract you have, that could be a while. And trust me, you don't want to have a lot of extra time at the end of your listing that people will look at and just keep wondering what happened. You don't want to stigmatize your property. So the sweet spot is really about 45 to 60 days. If at 45 to 60 days, you have had very little or no traction on your property, it's time to start thinking about a change.